Senator Chalgay. Senator Chalgay. Senator Chalgay, have your seat. Minority leader, sit down. Assume your seat. Assume your seat. Assume your seat then. Assume your seat. Resume your seats. Resume your seats, members. I want to give enough time. I will listen to everybody in this house today. Because when you come to the speaker with your constitution, Senator Sifuna, how do you expect me to give you an opportunity to speak in front of my eyes? If you have an issue that you want to communicate to the table, you sit down, you press, and then you are given an opportunity. Yes. We must have order in this house. We must have order. Senator Sifuna, what is it?
Mr. Speaker, first of all, none of us here on the minority side, let me go to the box.
Come to this part. Go to the dispatch.
Senator Okech. Senator Okech, please.
Mr. Speaker, none of us on the minority side mean to disrespect the chair or anybody occupying that chair at any particular time. Mr. Speaker, we are getting increasingly frustrated because this is not why we were elected to come to the Senate. We have serious business to be able to transact. We don't understand how a simple matter, such as a communication from the chair, requires all this drama. Mr. Speaker, our point of departure with the chair is under Article 107 when you read it, Mr. Speaker. It says that in the absence of the Speaker, the Deputy Speaker presides. That is exactly or precisely why we have members of the Speaker's panel. It doesn't have to be the substantive Speaker for any business of the House to be transacted. There are even members here who are not even Deputy Speakers, but are members of a panel of Speakers, and they come and transact business there. The question I'm asking myself, Chair, is if indeed you are saying that in your capacity as the Deputy Speaker, having sat on that chair, you cannot undertake a simple task like reading a communication, how then would you transact bills and motions, which are far more serious matters that have to wait for the substantive chair? Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I want to say this here. Nobody is going to scare us. This is our house. I was elected here and in both houses of parliament in this Republic of Kenya. Nobody, none of you, got as many votes as Sifuna. You are not going to threaten me. You have nothing on me. Mr. Speaker, I want to make it clear that it does not matter which shenanigans are employed. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It doesn't matter what we have to do. We are saying we are going to change our leadership because it is our right. Mr. Speaker, we want all we want, whether the communication that comes from the Speaker's office is legal, is right or wrong. We don't care. We want it to come out of the Speaker's office so that we can take other avenues in order to enforce our rights as a minority side. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, no, you will not gag me, Cheriot. You did not even get half the votes I have.
Senator.
So just be quiet. Be quiet when I'm here.
Senator.
These are numbers.
Senator
Numbers don't lie.
You
Mr.
must
Chair,
be ordering. You must
protect
be
me.
You must
protect
be
me. You have to protect me.
You just
you have
make
to
your
protect
contributions
me.
facing
Mr.
the Speaker.
Chair, I want to say this lastly. Without any fear of contradiction. Because we are proceeding under the standing orders. Under standing order number 23.5. In fact, this communication from the chair, in my view, is superfluous. Because what it says is that the removal of a senator from the office under paragraph 3 shall not take effect until a senator is elected in the manner provided under paragraph 1. A senator has been elected to replace the outgoing whip. A senator has been elected to take the space of a deputy minority whip. From here, we are proceeding to enforce this because we do not need your communication from you so that we can be able to enforce.
Thank you. No, just a minute. Just a minute. Let me also give some more guidance. When the Speaker leaves his desk to preside over the House, we don't carry any documents from the office. Everything is in these files. So when we go to order number 2, there was no communication to be delivered by the chair. If there was any, I could have done so, and so proudly. But when I was in this chair, there was no communication by the time we were in order number 2. If this communication will be brought to me when I'm here, or any other speaker who will be on this chair, then he or she must communicate. But as I sit here, as I study here, there is no communication on this file. Therefore, if there's communication will land on my desk here now, I will do the communication. Yes. So, what I want us to understand is that I'm not unable to read the communication. It is only that the communication is not here with me. Yeah? So if there's communication, I wish that communication could be brought now. And then, yeah. So if the communication is not here, then a minority reader, you know where you placed your request, which office. That is where you should walk and get the communication. But as I speak, this is the file. This is the file which has no communication. So when I sit, what do I communicate? Yeah, so I want us to make some progress. But any time that communication is brought here, I will relay the communication. But then if you ask me where the communication is, I cannot be able to tell you. Yes. What is it, Senator Ndama?
Mr. Speaker, let me thank you for the direction that you've given. You brought some sanity. My only fear, Mr. Speaker, is that your directive is now purporting to mean that the Secretariat has not done their work. Mr. Speaker, it is something very dangerous, and I would like to persuade you, because of your own words, to allow us to adjourn this House for 5 minutes. We shall bring the communication to your desk. You make the communication, because, Mr. Speaker, we should all...
Now you are directing me, Senator Ndama,
I'm requesting.
on
I'm
what
not
I
electing.
should do,
Mr. Speaker,
which I think I not to
Mr.
follow.
Speaker, fair enough.
I not to
Fair
follow
enough.
that part.
Fair enough, Mr. Speaker. Let me complete my sentence here. Mr. Speaker, you have done something very good, and I want to thank you for that. Colleagues, you've done something very good, and I want to thank you for that. You have told us here that any time that communication comes to your desk, you shall read the communication. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for that. Give us 3 minutes, it will land in your desk.
You have all the time. You have all the time. 3 minutes are too few. Senator Chaligay, 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for, when I raise, as much as I agree in the reading of Article 107, it says either Speaker or Deputy Speaker or any member, including Speaker's panel, may preside. But the Constitution does not say may preside in favor of the minority side. That is where we debate. Mr. Speaker, I have been listening to you. Under Article 3 of the Constitution, every person, including you, should protect the Constitution. Yes. It means if the issue that minority side was raising did not meet or violated Article 47 on fair administrative action, Mr. Speaker, you cannot just be a conveyor belt. The law does not see, when you read, Mr. Speaker, Article Section 23, standing order number 23, it does not mean that the Speaker is the conveyor belt. So what the minority side, Mr. Speaker, is inviting you to do is to become a conveyor belt, Mr. Speaker. When you read, Mr. Speaker, standing order 45, please, can you listen to me? I was listening to you, Mwami. No, you should behave, Bwana. You should behave. Standing order number 45, Mr. Speaker. Standing order, Mr. Speaker, can you protect me?
Are you okay? Proceed. You are doing
Standing
so well.
order 45, Mr. Speaker. And I request that at least you listen. Mr. Speaker, standing order number 45.
Senator Sifuna, please.
Mr. Speaker,
No,
you need to protect.
Senator Sifuna, please.
Please, Mr.
Let us have
Sifuna.
order in this house.
Mr. Speaker,
Senator Nduro,
I'm on the floor.
Senator Nduro.
No. No, kindly. No. No. Mr. Speaker.
Senator Roba. Senator Roba.
Mr. Speaker, all of us, Mr. Speaker, are colleagues, and we must behave in a respectful manner towards each other. Regardless, Mr. Speaker. And then, Mr. Speaker, understanding order 45. Mr. Speaker, no, Senator Eddy, you don't need to shout. We are not in a public rally.
Senator Chaligay,
Mr. Speaker,
please.
can I conclude?
Stop engaging other members.
Okay,
conclude
but you need to
your
protect me.
prosecution.
You know I'm not expert in demonstrations and mandamanos. Standing order 45, standing order number 45, sub-article 2. The business shall be disposed in the sequence in which appears in the order paper or in such other manner, other sequence as the speaker may. So you cannot tell us to respect Article 107.
That standing order. That is why I said any time.
Yes, that's why, Mr. Speaker. Can I get to the meat?
Yes.
Can I get to the meat, Mr. Speaker? Can I get to the meat? Article 107 invites you to preside the House. But standing order 45, standing order sub-article 2, it says the business shall be disposed of in the sequence in which appears in the order paper or in such other sequence as the speaker may, for the convenience of the Senate direct. The speaker has said he can rearrange. Senator Sifuna, you might be new, Mr. Speaker. We have always rearranged the order paper. This is not the first time, and traditions.
Senator Chalia, you
Mr.
have been on.
Speaker,
Thank
as
you
I
very much.
conclude, Mr. Speaker,
conclude.
as I conclude,
You have concluded.
we have reorganized order paper before. Mr. Speaker, don't be invited to the circus that I'm seeing
Your
here.
point is very clear, Senator Chalgay. Yes, Majority Rinda.
Mr. Speaker, I'm increasingly getting concerned, and I want to invite you to standing order number 121 on disorderly conduct. And I'll read it so that it is clear, because I'm seeing a scheme here, Mr. Speaker, that the minority side does not want us to process any business today. And they are setting a very bad precedent. They are setting a precedent that in future, Mr. Speaker, if for whatever reason the majority side decides on a particular matter and your office either disagrees, delays, or for whatever reason is not able to do it in the manner and the speed that the majority side wants, that we become chaotic, we become disorderly, we forget that this is a house of order, this is a house of rules, and begin to engage in a shouting match. I don't think that is a precedent that we want to set in this house. I have been where the minority side are today. We used to be 7 senators only on this side during the famous days of the handshake. But there is no day that I created chaos in this house. I will sit down, wait for my turn, make my point, whether I win or I lose. We used to lose every vote every day. But there is no day I became disorderly, Mr. Speaker, because I respect this house. I want to urge you, Mr. Speaker, and you know, Senator Sifuna, teach him some manners. Mr. Speaker, it cannot be that every time, it cannot be.
No point of order. Nothing is out of order.
It cannot be, Mr. Speaker, that every time when other leaders are speaking, you want to be the one that you're shouting. You are shouting at the Speaker, you are shouting at the colleagues. For heaven's sake, you're only 3 months old in this house. Keep your calm, learn, be a good disciplined student. There is nothing to be excited. There is nothing to be excited about being elected. For your information, I have been elected 3 times, and I didn't have to try 6 times like you before coming to this house.
Majority in the country.
know-
Have your cool also.
You know, Mr. Speaker,
Yeah, so-
Mr. Speaker, it cannot be.
Have your seat. Resume your seat, Senator Sifuna.
Ai. Kwani unatisha nani wewe? Peleka huko, kwenda kabisa.
Senator Majority Leader, I want to
Anyway,
make some
this is my
progress.
point of order, Mr. Speaker.
I have given the direction on
No, Mr.
how-
Speaker.
what we are doing.
I want to, no, I haven't invited you to my point of order. My point of order is standing order number 121, Mr. Speaker. And I want you to read it with me so that it can be understood. A senator is disorderly if